News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk KGVO, AM 1290 and 98.3 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
Residents near Mineral County advised to evacuate because of an advancing wildfire. Good morning, everyone. Montana Morning, Thursday, July 27th, 2017. Sky is overcast. We still have plenty of smoke out there. It's 63 degrees in Missoula. Our newscast this morning, sponsored by Dig It Excavating, where they bring 30 years of excavation excellence to every job. Call 214-4292. Our top story this hour, authorities are telling residents in parts of western Montana's Mineral County to leave their homes immediately as a wildfire approaches. The fire is threatening 60 homes and other structures yesterday, 11 miles southeast of Superior in the Lolo National Forest. The evacuation order is for residents in the Sunrise Creek and Quartz Flats areas. Residents living near Verde Creek are being warned they may have to leave as well. The lightning-caused blaze ignited July 16th had grown to more than 4 square miles by yesterday. There are more than 400 people battling that blaze, but it was burning unchecked as of yesterday. In eastern Montana, fire crews have contained nearly two-thirds of a complex of fires that has burned 421 square miles and destroyed 16 homes. Missoula County, along with the rest of southwest Montana, entered Stage 2 restrictions this morning at midnight. Jordan Coben with the DNRC explains.
Campfires and charcoal grills are prohibited. LPG stoves are allowed, so any of those stoves that can be turned on and off through, say, a gas propane shut-off valve. And then smoking, along the lines of smoking, no smoking is allowed except in enclosed vehicles or buildings or flammable-free areas 3 feet in diameter.
Missoula never had Stage 2 restrictions last year, but this year the restrictions stretch through Granite, Lake, Missoula, Mineral Valley, and Sanders counties.
It's called classified forested lands. So any kind of forested areas, whether they be public or private, any forested lands, you're not allowed to have any campfires, no smoking. And then along with that, we restrict no operating motorized vehicles off designated roads and trails.
Hoot owl restrictions are also in place in forested areas between 1 p.m. and 1 a.m. They prohibit the operation of any internal combustion engine, the use of welding torches, explosives. Stage 2 restrictions are the final level of restrictions before actual forest closures. Firefighters in eastern Montana are increasing containment of wildfires that have destroyed 16 homes and scorched 421 square miles of farmland and public lands. Authorities say they've contained 34% of the 4 fires, which are being treated as one complex. That's up from 20% containment the day before. Most of the burning is occurring on the interior of the fires. The Garfield County Sheriff's Office has lifted an evacuation order for 50 homes. Over 600 firefighters are battling that blaze. Missoula is famous for strong inversions that trap air pollution in the area, and firefighters up on Lolo Peak are getting a taste of the low visibility conditions, which have been so bad this week they've grounded helicopters. Here's Fire Information Officer Mike Cole.
If the smoke is laying right over our fire in the morning and we go up to after the night trying to figure out where it burned to during the night, we can't get in there on certain sides of it just because it's too heavy smoke. You have no visibility to look down and actually figure out where it's at on the map. If it's really heavy smoke, we can't fly helicopters because we can't locate our targets where to drop any water at.
Cole says inversions can be a benefit to fighting fires, but only if ground crews are involved.
If we had this fire where we actually had firefighters on the ground, what was easy to get at is that will keep that fire laying down, not as active when there's a smoke inversion, and especially a smoke inversion with cloud cover over the top. But once that breaks, and sometimes it's later in the morning, sometimes it's early afternoon when that inversion breaks, the sun can get on that, and that's when the fire activity really picks up.
Rugged and rocky terrain has made ground firefighting difficult for most of the larger fires around the Missoula area. Cole says smoke from other fires has also poured into the area, adding to visibility problems. MTN News reports the Poplar woman who admitted she beat a 1-year-old baby to death and disposed of her body after smoking methamphetamine with a friend last year was sentenced to prison yesterday. Janelle Red Dog, who was 43, was sentenced in U.S. District Court in Great Falls to 20 years in prison for the murder of Kensley Olson on April 1st of 2016. Kensley was 1 year old. The judge followed the sentencing recommendations of prosecutors who said Red Dog needed a sentence that included incarceration and mandatory substance abuse treatment. Red Dog will also be required to be under federal supervision for 5 years after she's released from prison. Shortly before midnight on Tuesday, an individual suspected to be involved in the death of a woman found Sunday morning in Jefferson County shot himself, resulting in his death. Police spokesman Travis Welsh provides details of the incident.
Just kind of remind people that to get ready. This is it is.
We were conducting surveillance on the residence for this specific male. So I'm getting to a car and leave the residence, and we initiated a stop. And while the officers were waiting for backup, this individual produced a handgun and fired a round, apparently taking his own life.
Welsh explains why the Ravalli County Sheriff's Office was asked to investigate.
Because of our involvement up to that point, in conjunction with the Missoula County Attorney's Office, it was requested, Ravalli County was requested to come up and conduct the investigation to coincide with the DCI investigation in the other county.
Ravalli County Sheriff Steve Holton said the results of his investigation will be turned over to the Missoula County Attorney's Office. AGB Search, the firm out of Washington, D.C., entrusted with finding the next president for the University of Montana, delivered a total of 98 candidates for the post just after the July 21st deadline. AGB's James McCormick said the names, along with their resumes, have been delivered to the search committee.
Out of the 98, 79 were male and 19 were female. There were 81 of them from inside higher education, and from outside higher education, 17. There are 9 from Montana and 89 from elsewhere, and the states represented are 18 states, plus the District of Columbia, and countries represented, there are 6. The United States and 5 other countries.
McCormick said his firm will continue to assist the committee through the entire process right up to when the finalists make their campus visits.
It's a closed search until they make a decision about those individuals that will do the campus visits. And then it becomes public at that point, and we will continue to do reference checking and vetting right through that process. And then the search committee will stay involved through the campus visits, but basically then the finalists get turned over to the board, the regions, for their decision.
McCormick expects the new president to be in place in October in time for the start of the second semester. With fire season underway in earnest, looking back at last year's devastating Roaring Lion fire, Ravalli County Sheriff Steve Holton proactively published the county's evacuation plan this week. Using the Ravalli County Sheriff's Office app, Holton is letting citizens know the steps to be taken in case the worst happens.
Just kind of remind people that to get ready. This is it is Ravalli County in July, and we're bound to have a fire. We just want people to be prepared and hopefully continue our streak of not having anybody injured in a fire.
Holton said the county's present plan has evolved since the historic fire season of 2000. It's now a 2-stage process.
The stage 1 is a warning. That's what we always look for, is to have that enough time and to look at fire behavior and things for specific incidents. And then the second stage is that actual evacuation order, where, again, we hope to have enough time to go door to door. If not, we'll use patrol vehicles with PA systems, etc.
Holton said Ravalli County residents can come to his office for pre-evacuation packets, but the best way is through the Ravalli County Sheriff's Office app. And there's a link to that on our website at newstalkkgvo.com. Our News Talk time is 6:13.
News Talk KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
A mix of sun and smoke today with a chance of showers and thunderstorms during the afternoon. Daytime highs will be hot as we top out in the upper 80s and low 90s. The thunder threat will diminish tonight with overnight lows in the 50s. I'm meteorologist Brooke Foster, KECI 13.